All right. So we're still working on bookmarks, and I had shown you this one last week using the Tangle Marley, which is kind of like Muka, sort of, kind of. Then we're going to work on that about half of the session. And then we're going to pick up this one. This is a riff on Zentangle. Those of you who've been with me a while, remember we did Zentangle back in the day. That's this. And by putting these, turning it into leaves on a flower, we can make a real neat arrangement, mosaic with it, and include other things in it as well. So this one I have begun. So at the end of the lesson, you will have 2 bookmark beginnings. Not that we're going to finish them, but you will know enough to finish it in your own time when you have a moment and you want to just sit and meditate or pray or whatever. So with that, with chapter 1, I still have to use my bowl. So grab your piece of paper for your bookmark. And in the first chapter, we're going to go over gratitude, our intention while we're working on it. I've kind of added this, our dots and our lines. So let's begin sitting here quietly, thinking about all we're grateful for. And then think about if we're going to use these bookmarks as prayer cards for people, who are we going to draw this for? And if you want to, you can write it on the back or something. And thank God for that person. And let's move on then. We will begin with our dots, our traditional dots. And our lines. Okay. So that is how we begin. I always get to this place and then I realize I have to make some decisions. When you've been tangling with me, your decisions, I've made a lot of the decisions for you. But if you're going to be doing this on your own, and I hope you will, I've kind of grouped this together these two things, the string and the tangles themselves, because those two elements interact with each other and feed off of one another. You may have a string that you want to begin with, where you divide it up, this whole piece, into different sections, or you may want to just leave it open and go with your tangle. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use one tangle. We call that, when we just use one tangle on a tile, we call that a monotangle. And so we're just going to use this one tangle and embellish it and make it as beautiful as we can. So the way we draw this tangle, let's just go ahead and start on our bookmark.
Okay, could you put up the little 2-inch tile for a second again, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thanks.
Would you like for me to just draw that? Let's just turn our tile over, and maybe I'll just draw this on the back right here, just this much, and you can maybe learn how it works. I'm not particularly excited about the way this one turned out, but let's just go. We'll start with a base and a fescue, just like that. Easy. And then we can go up and then kind of as Melinda Barlow says, make it an elf hat, make it look like an elf hat at the top. And that is one Marley, I guess. And then we can do the second one, fescue. And one. Remember, there are no mistakes. And I'm going to do it this way. I like that. So when you do that first fescue, that's going to be one side of the base. And when you come back and do this, that's the other side of the base. And I kind of, on this one, I kind of wanted to, I didn't like it because I had this one here kind of odd person out, it seemed, because I wanted these stems to kind of go up and down this way. And so maybe where the bases are, we kind of keep them in the middle. Take them on up. But however you do it will be just fine. Any questions there? Well, let's go ahead and begin. Now, I'm going to kind of begin to do the chapter 3, which is shading and embellishing. If you're not quite finished with what you want in that first layer, just keep going. But I'm going to mention this and I'm going to kind of work here. We're at the place where it's not going to be so much a matter of keeping up, as we'll just continue to work on this together for a little while. One thing I will mention though is if you wanted to give it a bit of a 3D type feel, that's what this was supposed to be. This was pretty crudely done. You could kind of thicken that there. I think what I'm going to do here is just kind of not make it quite so big, but just make it look like it's a little 3D. Like there. And I may want to thicken some of the other lines. We call that working with line weight. And it's it's part of shading, really. You can begin your shadows with a much wider line, or spreading it out in places, or rounding like that. Maybe that rounding looks better. After you're done, even, you might want to come back with a pen, one of the thicker pens, or a pen with a higher number. Like here's an 05. I could come back and go over this line and make it thicker. And here too, maybe. The tangles will acquire a different character if you thicken some of the lines and emphasize some of them with drawing over them. Okay. This is some of the shading that I've started here. I used markers. You could as easily use colored pencil or watercolor pencil or just watercolors to color all of this if you want to. But I used a darker value to indicate the shading here. I also added some, I don't know, tendrils along there like it was growing or something. You can decide if you want to do that or you want to handle it in some other way. I kind of like this, putting this little one back here. I might take that later. And then I colored it and I used some metallic pens to just put dots around. Oh, I did an aura all around this. So there's a good picture of this on the letter that I sent you yesterday. So you can refer to that as you begin to work on this. And this is not a game where you play copy the teacher unless you want to. I find people that I really like the way they tangle and I do copy them. And I learn a lot doing that. So it's okay to copy. There's no rule against that. But if the spirit moves you to do something else, well, go for it. But at this point, I'm going to pronounce this ready to lay aside for you to work on later. And I'm going to start you off on a different bookmark. So I'm going to lay these aside. And I'm going to pick up chapter 4. So here we go. Let's get our new bookmark and lay it in front of us. And take a moment to begin feeling gratitude and spirit of connection with what we're doing. Thankful for these moments when we're not having to think about anything else. And we can begin again with the dots. And the lines. And then having done the dots and the lines and the gratitude ritual, we know we're really tangling. We're not just doodling. And so we begin to make decisions. Maybe we've already made some of them about a string that we're going to use or tangles we're going to use. Sometimes I make these decisions ahead of time before I really begin the tile. But the first thing we're going to do is look at Nzeppel. And that is spelled Nzeppel, Nzeppel. And it's a grid. So the first thing we do is lay down our grid. Go ahead and pick up your O1, the pen. And let's kind of make these a little bigger. On this particular thing, I made the grid very regular, and I had 4 uprights all the way across. I had, or actually 5, so 4 sections across and some higher, and they were all very even. And we can do something like that, but we don't have to do them even. We can take them and have wavier lines. But let's go ahead and just we can start. Like that. I realize not everybody here has necessarily done the Nzeppel, so we're going to take this really straightforward, not do anything overly fancy. And once we've laid the uprights, we can make the cross pieces with about the same distance between lines as we did here. So that far. And we can, doesn't have to be perfect by any means. A little wonkiness gives it character. Mm. And now I'm going to do the diagonals. So I'm just going to go from one corner to its diagonal like that. And then we can do the other diagonal. So basically we have an X in the middle of each of the boxes made from our original layout. There we go. let's see. Now, basically, we're going to begin, we're going to do Enzeppel, the squishing the ball and shoving it into the corners of these little triangles. That's Enzeppel, where we just trace back over this, and it's like we've got cobblestones or a Nerf ball or something like that, that we just squish in to those corners. And you leave a little, you round those corners because they're too tight to squish your ball into. And you can trace back over those lines. It'll make them heavier. And let's do about 3 of these squares squared. In other words, do 3 rows. And then I'm going to show you what to do next. Take your time, enjoy the process. Okay. Now I want to draw your attention to the intersections of these lines. And you note that at some of the intersections, you have two lines crossing, and at others, you have four lines crossing each other. So where there are four lines crossing each other, like here, you have kind of a star effect. And we're going to start drawing on the petals of this flower. And where these star thing comes together, it's under here. That is going to be the center of our flowers. So here is the center of a flower. And that star is there. And here's one. And here's one. You can really see it here. So we've got one flower we're going to make, and then we can surround it by adding some flowers that look like they're beneath. I'm having trouble with this light. Like they're beneath the original flowers. So let's pick one of the places where you have the four lines coming together and you've got your star, like here, not there, but here. And just inside of where you've drawn your cobblestone, let's lightly draw in the veins of our flower. And this tangle is called nymph, N-Y-N-P-H. Like that. And it will begin to look like this. And we can make these lines a little curvy. And it'll look more leaf-like. If you haven't run across Melinda Barlow's videos on YouTube, I'm going to I'm going to send you links to some of them. She's been making little instructional videos about how to draw tangles for years. And she takes, usually the little videos run to about 10 to 15 minutes. And she very carefully shows you how to draw these things. I learn a lot from her. And she's just very dedicated and does it. Anyway, Melinda Barlow kind of invented this tangle when she was playing with Zentangle one time. Okay. Now my next flower, nymph, I'm going to go ahead and draw with this as its center. Remember, it's got to be a star for it to work. And it's going to go, I'll be putting the little lines in those 6 sections. And I'm going to use a different color pen. I'm going to use my 01 brown pen. And we'll get that two-tone effect like that, or like that. So okay. And I'm going to make one more flower here, one more nymph. And I'm going to do it in these 3 sectors. And I'm going to use my black 01. So now I'm going to move into some shading and embellishment. I want these two flowers to look like they're going behind this one, or they're lower than that one. So I'm going to put that shading there and there and there. And this one is going to be behind that one. I think I'm going to put a little lighter shading right there. And now, because I just can't stand not doing it, I'm going to take this center part of the flower and I'm going to cover that star with my ink from my gold pen, because I think it needs that. The center of that flower. Okay. You can see that over here in working on a tan tile, I used white and brown and black and gold. And in a few places, instead of filling in with the nymph everywhere, I left some of them and I used a different fragment, a different little tangle in some of those spaces. So you can begin to play with it and move things around. I'm kind of liking the effect of this brown and gold and black together on white paper, though. I'm gonna go with this. And there, I'm going to leave you all. I will appreciate your comments and your prayers, and I will keep you all in my thoughts this rest of this week. And so peace be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Oh, it
bye.
was wonderful.
Bye.